Hello everyone. Yes, here we are. Second day in a row. Just reading some of the chat. Hopefully you can hear me. Everything should be working. So we've just had the emergency alert system test thing. That was interesting. So it's working, hopefully. Yeah. Oh yeah, and Richard said it was early, which yeah, it was supposed to be at 3 o'clock. Everyone's waiting till 3 o'clock, and then off it goes at 2:58 or 9. Right. So hopefully what you're seeing is a better view than say yesterday. It all depends where I stand really, because my light is above basically where I stand. And I've had the camera in a different place 2 or 3 times today, and I couldn't get a setup I was happy with. So at least this is going to give us a front view. That's my phone just beeped to tell me I'm live. And then I've also got my overhead camera, so we can actually unbox it and then see what we're doing. So I'll just come back to this. So let's get the normal disclaimer thing out of the way. I had been in contact with Fysetc a few times to try and see if there was something I could do with them in terms of 3D printers and stuff like that. But every time I'd sort of contacted them, it was, oh, we don't need anything at the moment, but thanks, blah, blah, blah. And I guess basically I saw that the V0.2 was sort of a pre-order on their AliExpress store. So I thought, let's have a go, send them a message. And this time they were really happy to sort of help me out and work together. So they have sent me their 0.2 Pro Kit. I've had a peek in the top just to see what was happening and everything like that, but I haven't opened it and got everything out. So Richard's asking, so you're building another V0? Yeah. I would say the V0 that I've got up there, if I can work it out, is probably my most used printer. You can just set it and forget it, really, as long as you're not doing anything big, obviously, because it's only 120 cubed. But it is really good for small ABS stuff. Yeah, Richard says he's loving his. They are, yeah, I really like them. So that one is recently, I've just put in a Gemini, Fly Gemini board, purely for, because I'm in, so without wanting to talk too much about other manufacturers in this stream, I'm in the Cybor Discord, and their printers come with that, their V0s come with that, so they sent me one to be able to actually give better support with. And that's obviously got the Pi and everything built in. So let's get talking about this kit. So yeah, disclaimer, they sent it, but they have no input into what I say. They didn't really ask for anything. I said, can you send me one? They said yes, gave them my address, and then actually, if you might have seen on social media, I had the anniversary pack. So they sent me a message while we were talking about this saying, oh, can we send you something else as well? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then that came before the printer. So I just got 2 tracking numbers thinking, oh, I don't know which one's which and when's it turning up. And they both turned up pretty soon after each other. So let's have a look and see what is in their kit. This is basically what this stream is going to be. Literally just unboxing, because I've got to print the parts, which I haven't done yet. And we'll get into that in a minute. What else was I going to say? Can't remember. Right, so let's just get into it and have a look. Rich is thinking about an Urkva. This camera's reversed, so we've got an Urkva up here, which I've built and just didn't like. I said yesterday in the other stream, I like building things, and I'm not really, once it's built and I know it works or it moves, I'm sort of lose a little bit of interest. So there's one up there, and then next to it is the trad rack from Annex Engineering, which is currently a closed beta, and I really should be doing more with that. But that actually is, I'm going to stand back a bit so I'm in the light, is actually a little bit interesting. So you might want to wait and see when that comes out. So yeah, let's get over with this. Okay. So I haven't, like I say, haven't really had a look at anything other than just to see and make sure everything was okay. There is actually something in the top of this which I was actually a little bit surprised to see. I haven't seen that in other unboxing streams of any printers actually recently. So let's lose this bit of foam. So this first thing that I saw is a safety guide. Now, I don't know about anyone else, but I have not seen that included in a kit or a printer for quite a while. And it basically goes over some information about, I'm walking off the video here. Talks about that it's a kit and that you're assembling it. It says that adult supervision is required for if children are around to touch like a hot end or a heated bed. It talks about the AC wiring, the voltages, the temperature, which I was really surprised to see, if I'm honest with you. And then on the back it tells us about so the kit has a couple of things in it which require different printed parts. So we've got, let me go over to the main camera. We've got a couple of QR codes that go to printed parts. So we've got a printed parts, a database knowledge, which is basically just a link to the GitHub page, links to the Voron manuals, which is excellent because they haven't tried to do anything special with their kit. There's a couple, like I say, there's a couple of different things, but it's basically a normal V0.2. So they're telling you, go to the Voron manual. Basically, they're saying they've got the best manual to assemble the printer, so follow it, which is true. Then it tells us basically about the product details, so size, temperature, capabilities, speed, capabilities, everything like that. And then another great thing is that it tells us that it's a open source 3D printer. Tells us the license. So yeah, so they have given you some information to say we've made the kit, but actually, you know, Voron made it. It's an open source project. Safety concerns or safety information, I thought that was very good. So that's something I haven't seen before. So yeah, that's the first thing we've got in the kit. We've then got our wiring diagram. So this is going to have a Cheetah V3 board. And it's just basically a wiring diagram for you to follow along and plug things in, which is a nice thing to have. So, and then on the back, we've got more specific close-up and labels to tell you where to plug things in. So an interesting thing actually about this kit is that there's been one person I know saw a listing that that didn't say it didn't come with the Raspberry Pi. It doesn't come with the Raspberry Pi. That is not included, so you would have to find that. Other than that, there is the BOM is quite comprehensive. So I'm not going to show you today because I haven't got the screen set up. But if you go, there'll be links in the description for AliExpress stores, GitHubs, everything like that. So if you want to have a look and see what's in the kit and what's included, you can do that. One thing I did want to mention, I've just remembered. So in the description, there is a link, first of all, to the Voron Discord. So you should join that if you're thinking about building a Voron. There is also a link to the DIY 3D printer feedback server. Now, this is a really good server. I spoke about this a little bit yesterday. It's basically a server that people can join up to and write, hello Andrew, and write their own feedback. They're not influenced by anyone. It's free for everyone to see. And so you can get feedback about loads of different kits. There's LDO, Cybor, Formbot, Fysetc, all of any others that are available that people have done reviews on. So there's a link in the description for that as well, if you want to have a look. And I have a channel that I've obviously literally just started, but what I'll do is I will post links to the live streams when I do them, but I will also take photos, so that I'm not obviously going to show you very well on this camera. So I will take photos and they will be in a channel so that you can see what's actually included in more detail. So let's carry on. Yep, so Andrew is saying the Orange Pi 02 is a great alternative to the RP3 Plus and runs faster for £21. Yeah, so my Voron 2.4 has got an Orange Pi 3 LTS in. Pretty happy with it. I have got a Raspberry Pi 2 put in this, so I'm not going to need an alternative, but that's a great thing to bring up, actually, Andrew. Thank you. Maybe I can put that in the description as well. So next thing, got some stickers. Nice to see a sticker sheet, and these are transparent ones. So if you put them on the panels and everything, you'll be able to still see what you're doing. That's quite good. So the first thing we've got is the power supply, and this is a Meanwell LRS. I can get that to, there we go. So it's an LRS 150 24 volt. So that's basically the spec PSU, set to 220 volts, so, or 230, so I don't need to do anything with that. Yeah, looks pretty good. I know Adam from Vector 3D had asked me the question if it was a LRS or another one, an R something. And I think he asked that because there's something to do with the EU and electrical frequency or something. So that might be worth having a look into. I'm not entirely sure what that is, so I can't comment on it. Next thing we've got is all of our panels. So we've got the lovely paper covering that we've got to take off, which no one likes because it takes forever and breaks really easy. RSP, that's right, Lars, I couldn't remember. So yeah, I won't undo those, but it looks like we've got all of our top hat panels, our door. For some reason the door looks like it's I can't see two pieces. Let's open this up and have a look. That's what the point of this stream is. Let's have a look if I can work it out. If anyone has any questions that you want me to look at specifically, feel free to tag me, and then I will try and answer that question. What I may do is, like my other V0, where I've got some custom laser cut panels, I might do that with this as well, just because I think it will look really cool. So this is our deck piece. So these are definitely, so these ones are transparent. So these will be our top hat. So we'll have 4 of those. That's right. We've got this bit, which I'm not entirely sure where that's for. So we've got the deck, the back panel. This is probably, don't know. We've got one clear panel here, which could be again for the top panel. Interesting to see their Z-axis build plate mount. Looks like seeing aluminium version. Yep, we'll have a look at that. Is literally the next box, Andy's 3D World. So we'll have a look at that. We've got another black piece with 4 holes in the corners, and then these are 3 clear pieces. So anyone who's got a V0 will know. Oh, I'm having a blonde moment, even though I've got no hair. I'm thinking of a 2.4, which has got a split door, or of course the V0 has got 1 piece for the door. So ignore everything I've just said. So let's put all this stuff back. I thought that was a bit strange, but there you go. And I suspect someone, it would have been nice if they were labelled. That, yeah, that's definitely something we can feed back. Obviously, you can probably, if you go through the manual, that'll obviously tell you, and the GitHub will have the DFX files for them. Just going to move this chair, and what I might do is move this box onto the chair, and then I'll bring stuff out to the top here. So let's leave this box out. Right, so this is our bed assembly. So let's have a look at that first. Now I want to try and stay on camera, but also, so I'm going to move that around a bit. There we go. So yeah, so who's that saying? Andy. If they laser cut, the paper would be engraved at the same time. Not sure what you're asking. So, oh right, so if they're laser cut, they could do it all in one go. So it's not like an extra process. That should be fairly quick for them. I get you. So yeah, so this is a 1-piece aluminium bed with, I don't know if you can see that, with Fysetc engraved in the end. So my other V0 has got a Kiriyami bed in, and I quite like it. It was a pain to put in because I did it after I'd built the printer. So this will be good to put in as we're going. So that looks quite nice. And what have we got with it? We've got some heat press inserts, which are obviously for the Wago bracket, and we've got two-way Wago bracket, Wago terminals. Yeah, 2 of those. What I've actually got open on another screen, if I can just bring that up. is that I've got open the bill of materials. So I do want to go through when we get to the hardware, just to make sure we've got the right things. So I just wanted to see if I can find where it's talking about Wagos and if we've got the right amount. Although it's not a standard thing, so they might not be on there. Yeah, I don't think Wagos are on there. So let's keep going. I'm probably going to be about an hour's worth of stream, a little bit longer. So I want to try and rattle through this if we can. Still got to do my V0 to yeah. Wait until the other kit manufacturer release an orange top hat kit. Yeah. Yeah, you want it all to match, don't you? So we've got the M3 hardware, some JST XH connectors with the pins, and then we've got this little PCB which is basically for the thermistor, quick attach thermistor. So obviously with the Wagos we'll be doing our bed heater, and then this is for the thermistor. And then we've got our thermal fuse, which has got a ferrule on one side and then I'm trying to think what that's called, but it's basically a connector, a push-in connector. So I'm guessing on the bed or in the wiring we have the other end. So one thing I do like about their wiring is that they're all labelled with the little heat shrink labels on the sides there. So that's our thermistor wire. That's our heated bed wire. And if we look at the heater, and I'm not sure, but that looks smaller than a normal heater to me. And that is a 24 volt 75 watt heater. I think the spec is 60. Or maybe I'm wrong. Does anyone know? I think is it 100 by 100? Let's have a look. Maybe because I'm used to been working with a bigger printer recently, so yeah, no, it is 100 by 100. And the bed is has got the locating parts at the back so that you can put your spring steel sheet on and push it up to the things at the back. I like that. That's pretty nice. And then obviously we've got our spring steel sheet, which looks like textured on both sides. No other branding on there, no logo. And then we've got our magnet, but with no, we don't know if that's a 3M adhesive on there or not, just a plain sticky side, and then obviously the magnetic side. Feels pretty magnetic, so that's nice. So let's have a closer look at the bed and the wiring situation. So it's nice that they have put the wiring in ready to basically connect up. We haven't got to cut anything, we haven't got to put ferrules on ourselves. There's obviously our thermistor. We'll plug into the little PCB, and then this is the other end of the wire that I was saying the thermal fuse has got. There we go. So they all basically plug in. So this is basically ready to go once we get to that stage. So I think that's pretty nice. Let's put this away. I don't know if anyone else has seen that on any other kits. I know the LDO kit obviously has their, what is their different heater, isn't it? It's so we'll put that in there. I'll take this layer out and we can move over to the next layer. basically this is just a 2-layer box, so everything I'll be bringing out now is on the layer below. So let's start with this pocket over here, and I'll do each hole as we go. So here we've got our fastener kit, everything labelled and bagged up. Let's have a quick look at this. I just wanted to check, let's just pick some random things out and just see if we've got the right number according to the BOM. So we've got some M3, M38, and they are countersunk heads. So let me bring up the BOM. M38. Yep. So we've only got, by the look of it, in this one, the amount that it says we should have. Let's have a look at this. M2 nuts 60. M2 nut. So we've got an extra 5 of them. So we may have a few extra of some things. M2, again, countersunk screws, says we need 10, and we have got 10. So it looks like some of the things they have included extras of, and they may be for things that they have added. So we've got some shim rings here, as they call them, shim washers. So we've got an extra 10 of those. So yeah, hardware, we may have either the exact amount or a few extra. So let's check this one. This is M38 button head. M38 button head. So we've got 10 extra. Looks like they're all covered in like a shipping oil. Let me just minimize that. I've got all my windows messed up now, so I can't actually see what I'm doing. There we go. You probably won't be able to see that, but quite oily on there. But yeah, so we've got all of our hardware labelled in bags. Move on to the next thing. So we've got some PTFE tube. Looks just the standard 2 with a 4mm outer. Generic 16GB SD card, no other branding. And then a couple of ECAS connectors. Andrew was saying this is looking like a very nice kit. The last time I looked at a Voron kit years ago, you couldn't even get a full kit. They always were at least 20% out of stock. Yeah, so the kit market has definitely got a lot better. There's so many kits available now from different people and different prices as well. So that was something actually I wanted to bring up and look at. So let me bring up this. I thought I had put the AliExpress page up so I could bring it up quicker, but let's just have a look how much this kit is, because I think that's an important thing to look at. And also there was something I wanted to mention about the options they have. So this kit, you can choose the color of the extrusion. So you can have black, green, gold, red, blue and purple. And you can also have just the kit, which is what this is here, or you can have ABS printed parts as well. I would have liked them to send those so I can have a look at it, just so I could see what their quality was like. They didn't, so I can't. So it's 111.86 plus £66 shipping, so it's about £177. And I'm just going to add that to a cart so I can see if it adds the tax onto it. So 376. It doesn't appear that adds the tax on as well. So what that will mean is that basically you will have to potentially have a small tax bill to pay as well once it arrives. I obviously can't tell you how much that will be because it changes country to country and you might not even have to pay it. So that's something to look at. So it's 170 odd pounds, which is not bad for what you get, I don't think. So we've got some VHB tape. Now, Richard, if he's still here, will tell you that this is a lot wider than the stuff that came with the V0.1. This is, I think, 20mm wide. Yeah, 20mm wide. So that's interesting. I think that is the bomb size, however. So interesting. We'll come back to that. So then we've got some fans. We've got our 30, are they 3010s? And we've got our, so we've basically got our hot end fan and electronics fan now. We get one of each. Again, pre-crimped, labelled, ready to plug in. And then our blower fans for our part cooling. They're not branded or in a brand that I've heard of. They're not GDS Time or anyone or Sun-On. They are dual ball bearing ones as well. So that, I think they're a slightly better fan. So will it be interesting to see how long those last. And then in this little bag we've got more wiring. Again, everything is the right size, pre-crimped, labelled, ready to go. We've got a USB-C cable with a right angle, which is nice. Thermistor, limit switch for Z. So this I think is our LCD or LED screen because it's a USB with a JST on the end. But yeah, and now you might think that some of these are a little bit short. So that's our hot end heater, for example, because this kit comes with the umbilical mod. So it comes with the PCBs for the tool head and the PCB for the deck plate. And then we've got a power wire, Raspberry Pi power cable, which would connect to the cheetah board, and then our Z-axis as well. So again, all wires that we need, all pre-crimped. If you're still here, Richard, when I tweeted that picture, you asked what to know what something was. Was it the orange thing that you wanted to know what was, or the fan in the wall? Because I did say if you came, I'll give you an answer. So if you ask me again, I'll let you know. With the orange thing, the orange things are adjustable spools for filament samples. So I've got one for 3mm and one for 1.75. So you'd basically put your coil around there, and then if you squeeze that in, you can make them bigger. Like that. And then that will just sit on a normal spool holder. Yeah, I can't remember where I got them. Probably on printables or Thingiverse. But yeah, they're really handy if you've got a filament sample. And they've got like a little hole there which you can put the end of the filament in so it doesn't come off anywhere. So yeah, I've got two of those just up here. Yeah, they're pretty cool. So this is the hot end that's included with the kit. It's there. Do they call it the Tornado? Let's have a look on the website. I have got the the GitHub open for. Richard says he's got some filament PM samples coming. If I find the link, I'll tweet it so you can print one of those out. So yeah, this is the Tornado hot end, and it comes with an all metal and a PTFE heat break. And I've messed my windows up again. There we go. So I think they've fitted the all metal heat break. It's got the Dragon hole spacing. If I can get a good, there we go. So that will go in any tool head that's compatible with the Dragon. So yeah, I'm not so keen on the colour of the sock, and it probably doesn't come off well in the video, but it's pretty brown. It's like a light brown, which is not very particularly nice, but there you go. And then it comes with the PTFE lined, or what would be the PTFE heat break as well. It's not PTFE down to the nozzle, it's sort of stops a little bit higher up. And then it also comes with the adapter if you wanted to have it groove mounted, that screws into the top of the heatsink like that. And he says nice chunky heat block. Yeah. So what is that? Is that V? Well, that would be a V6 size heat block. So it will use a standard heat cartridge, standard thermistor cartridge as well, which is actually a good thing really, so we can change things over. Andrew was saying he buys Zero filament, or Zero. I know them from Amazon, and you always get samples with it. I need to print one of those. Yeah, I have no idea where the link is for that, so I would try and find it now, but I have no idea where it is. So let's put this little lot back and move on swiftly. So the next one we're going to have a look at is actually the electronics, which is something I wanted to have a look at. So there's our umbilical 14-pin cable that goes from the tool head to the deck plate PCBs. That's all included, all pre-crimped. There's our tool head PCB. Let's get that out and have a look. All soldered up, all ready to go. So when we come to assemble, everything is just going to plug in really quick. No worries about crimping wires or anything. And then here's our, how do we open this? Need a pair of scissors for this. So here's our deck PCB. And I have one of these in my V0 at the moment, so I like how these work. So that is the bit that goes, basically print the side up. We've got a thermistor there for our chamber thermistor. And then all of the connectors are on the bottom, so they'll go into the electronics bay, basically. So they've included these PCBs and all the wires pre-crimped, ready to go. The umbilical mod is great for V0. So glad I did it. Yeah, it is really good. This is, I think, our LCD. Yep. Or is it called the V0? So that's interesting. So we've got a little boot header there. Get that. There you go. But what's interesting is that this has actually got a USB connector and not the JST. So we'll have to see when we come to wiring it up whether we've got the cable, the right cable, because I did point out to you earlier the USB cable with the JST connector on the end. that obviously is not going to plug into that. It has got a header broken out for it, so I don't know, that's interesting, something we'll have to look at. Let's put that back in here. That was in this one. So one thing I want to check when I get to the cheetah board is what hole pattern that uses, because I couldn't see on the GitHub a mount for it, so I'm assuming it's the same size as an E3 board, a Big Tree Tech E3 board. So yeah, this is the cheetah board, and Yoto has just arrived. So again, we know each other from the Cybor Discord server. Yeah, so this is a Fysetc kit, the Cheetah V3. And I just so happen to have an E3 board here, so we can have a look. Yeah, so looking at the back of it, the hole pattern is the same. The copper pads are pretty much in the same places. They've both got all the labels for the pins on the underside. Probably be better if they were on the top side, because you're not going to be able to see them otherwise. But yeah, basically we'll be using the Big Tree Tech E3 mini board mounts to mount this. So it also comes with the heat sinks that we have to stick on ourselves. So Richard is asking, does it come with the heat sinks? They're here. We put them on ourselves. Why they don't use cheetah mix at all? Not sure what you mean there. How does the screen connection look on the kit's electronic guide? Good question. Let's have a look. It shows, yeah, so it shows a JST into a DuPont connector. You won't better see that on there. So it looks like you will have to either solder something on, because that isn't quite what we want. Cheetah mix sucks. Oh, Matt's watching. Hi James, watching while at work. Well, I won't tell anyone if you don't. So Richard is also from the Cybor Discord server. So yeah, it looks like a nice board to me. I like the black. Got our XYZ connectors, so we can select fan voltage as well. 24. We've got ESP connectors for multiple different screens, because we've got 1 to 3. So Richard's saying, so I made that diagram for them. They told me it was supposed to be connected by the JST connector when I made it. Also, I hope the GT V3 config is okay for you. Again, one of my creations. So Richard is well involved with a lot of stuff. It also directly powers the Pi, yeah. So from the connector in the middle here, the DuPont, or the header here, powers the board, and we showed that cable earlier. It powers the Pi, which is great, but they use a cable that has got enough connectors to do it via UART as well, which is a bit odd. You're either going to go with one or the other. let's put this little lot back. So next thing along is our rails. So they're all packaged up, Fysetc branded, no high win or anything like that. Yeah, so what I'm saying, Richard, is that it does it, but they give you, and your diagram shows, oh no, this diagram, where did I see? So there's two USB cables on the picture on the Pi, one going to the display and one going to the board. So you connected it, but if you're using that cable, you wouldn't. That's what I was saying. I personally, I don't think I've ever done one via UART, so I will probably just use the USB cable, to be honest, because it works. So yeah, no branding other than Fysetc, and I will go through and clean all these at another point. And then we've got one piece of cable management that goes on the back panel. Nice black colour. Let's put all that back. We'll do this pile next. So we've got a few more cables. We've got also got our cable chain. We've got our mains power inlet with colour cables that I don't like, so I'll be changing them to match the UK colour code, just because I feel more comfortable having that in there. And then in this little bag we've got our bearings for our belts to run on, for the bearing stacks. We've got our essentially BMG internals in this bag. Feet, magnets and bed springs in this bag. Some JST XH connectors and pins and a sticker. And then in this one we've got so these are in replace of, well, these are basically nut bars, but you thread straight into them. I will build the kit with what it came with. Whether these are any good, I don't know, but we'll try them. We won't need these on the X-axis, and I'll show you why shortly. So let's get all this stuff out of the way, back in the bag. Has anyone got any questions as we go? Which brand? Which brand for what part? So we're coming up to about an hour's worth of stream, 4 o'clock. Oh, for the bearings. I can't see any branding on them. So they're just generic bearings. No branding from what I can see. So we've got a UK power plug, power cable. And then we've got some belt and some pulleys. This is not Gates belt. It's labelled Toalot. I think that's one of their brands. Probably not going to be able to get that on screen. Oh, might be able to just. But again, as I said earlier, I will be taking photos and putting them in the DIY printer feedback server. So if you want to see pictures of stuff, that will be where to do it. Network cable, side clippers and some Allen keys. Some cable ties. Again, no branding on pulleys or anything. We've got our Z-axis anti-backlash nut in there as well. Can't see it very well. So I'm not going to get all of the I am still here, by the way. I'm not going to get all of the extrusions out. I'm just going to get a couple out to show you. So this is typical of what the extrusions look like. Just black extrusions. I'll have a look at that in a second. I'll look at the pulleys in more detail. Wonder if I could be better off. No, you're not going to see it on there either. The finish on them is really nice. It looks like the ends are, I don't know if this is anodized or what, but the ends are black as well, so they've done it after cutting. But what I did want to show you is this. So we've got a lightweight X-axis extrusion, which is then tapped for our linear rail. So that's really thin there. And then we've got some slightly thicker things there. Poti, hello, nice to see you. So that looks quite nice. So that'll be interesting. That is really light, incredibly light. So you want to have a look at the pulleys, the teeth shape. So they are curved at the bottom of the tooth. There's no way I'm going to be able to show you that on camera because this is just a cheap webcam. But yeah, they're curved or U-shape at the bottom of the thing. Might be worth checking the straightness of the X-beam. So it's not rocking. That seems pretty flat to me. Matt is saying, always fancy building a Voron, but I'm a bit like you, James. Actually prefer the build rather than using of the machine. It's a lot of money to spend when I'm not really going to use it. Yeah. I've recently been trying to use my printers in more of a useful way. But I totally agree with you. Having a printer just for the build is a little bit pointless. But what I would say is what I said at the start of the stream. I use my V0 a lot because it's quick. It's quick in actual print speed, quick to heat up, and as long as you're not doing anything, obviously if you could do something bigger, you need a bigger printer. But otherwise, it's pretty quick to be able to do prototyping or just to get a print out. But I totally agree with you. Voron's on, yeah, exactly. The right number of printers to have is N+1. So, and this, going back to this X-beam, this is one of the parts that has some extra parts need to be printed, and they're on the Fysetc GitHub. So what that will do, I think the part that goes in the end, to basically allow you to then put that into the Voron part for the X-axis. So let's get these things back. And then we'll have, like I say, I'm not going to get all the extrusions out. I will obviously look at them in more detail, make sure holes are drilled in the right place. They're actually drilled, they're actually tapped where they need to, etc. And I'll post photos in the Discord server that I mentioned. but we'll have a look at maybe a motor or two. So we've got one of the A and B motors here. So again, this is just a Fysetc branded 1.8 degree stepper, hybrid stepper motor. Not entirely sure what that means. But again, so this is the A motor. I've just opened something, there we go. And again, the wire is not as long as I have seen on stepper motors, pre-crimped and labelled, ready to go. And then here's our extruder motor. Again, Fysetc branded 1.8 hybrid stepper motor. Yeah, Andy, I think there was also 24/7 printing. 24/7 did a video on, I think he had 3 or 4 different X beams. So that's definitely a video worth watching. I think he more or less said they don't make a huge amount of difference, from what I can understand. So yeah, so cheers all, looking forward to your build notes. So I think, does that mean that Richard might be going off somewhere? 3DP UK is here as well, hello. So yeah, let's put these back. So there's not a lot more to unbox. That is pretty much it. Like I said, there's no printed parts in this. This is for us to print. Let's go over to the main camera and then just put this around here. There we go. That is pretty much all of it unboxed, really. I will be like I said, taking better photos, more detailed photos. I've got to print the parts. So at the moment, I'm going to do the main colour in Prusament ASA Galaxy Black, and I haven't decided on the accent colour yet. If anyone's got any suggestions that I can get some filament to do the accent colours in. And Andy's just asking. So yeah, I'm basically in search of an accent colour. Obviously I've got my red 2.4 here. I've got my purple and orange 0 up there. So what colour would go well with Prusament Galaxy Black? A fluorescent pink. I'm not discounting it. We could certainly have a look at that. Any particular brands that you can think of that I could get? A sparkly one. Now Richard, we've got too many Richards in the chat, but this Richard, I don't know if you're aware that Printy Please, which is actually based in Ipswich, same town as I am, he has got some sparkly ABS that he now sells. He's only got 3 colours at the moment, but he's got more on the way. Ooznest do some good colours. Interesting fact for you, Andy. I used to work for Ooznest, and I was there when they started selling filament, so I know that they do good filament. He doesn't currently have a green, so literally the first batch was a sample, a test batch, see if it sells. So he's got a sparkly black, sparkly red and a sparkly purple, and the next batch is on the way. I don't know what colours he's got. He did do a poll, but I can't remember what the winners were, or not all winners, but the ones that he selected. But the plan is to do more colours. So that's definitely something that's happening. So I think we ought to go for an off the wall color. I don't want to do red, because that's Voron colors and I've already got my red Voron. I'm liking the idea of like a bright pink, or I think there's a fluorescent yellow as well that Nest have got. But what I might do is wait until Richard at Printy Please gets his next batch in, so that I can see what colours those are. Just gonna have a quick drink. I don't think, if there's any, does anyone want to have a closer look at anything in the kit that I can get out and have a look at it now? I know I went through that pretty quick, but an unboxing stream there's not a lot for us to really see. It's a pretty standard kit. We've got a couple of, obviously, the nice aluminium one-piece bed, and we've got the lightweight X-axis, which looks really nice. So the plan is that I'm going to build this on streams rather than do a bit and then do a stream where I've already done it. So the plan is that I will do each section of a build on stream. So I obviously got to start printing the parts as well. Did it come with the rail grease? It did not, and most kits don't, and didn't come with Loctite either. Again, most kits don't, and that's more for a shipping reasons than it is that they don't include it. Is the E3D motion system trouble? Have you turned it around in the corner? So my workshop is tiny. Well, not tiny, but it's small. So let me just bring it up. So where the overhead camera is here, this is normally where the tool changer lives. So what I've had to do is move the tool changer over to this desk, which is more of a sitting height desk where I normally have my laptop, and then put the camera up here so that I can show you stuff. So that's why it's in disgrace in the corner. That's the only reason it's there. Normally it would be sitting up. Another interesting fact, that the tool changer is considerably heavier than a V0.2 2.4, which I had moved there when I was trying a different setup. But yeah, E3D tool changer's just sitting there because I had to move it. So Chris has asked, nice kit. I think it's quite a nice kit actually, yeah. Obviously won't be able to really give a lot of feedback on that until we've started building it, which we'll do obviously in the next stream. So it doesn't come with a Pi, so that's, or a single board computer, let's say, because we can use alternatives now. So that's something you would have to add to the price. But what I'm liking so far is the pre-crimped and lengths of wire, the umbilical toolhead PCBs. So basically we are literally, once we get to the plugging in stage, the wiring stage, we are just going to be plugging things in because everything's the right length, it's got the right connectors on, it's all labeled up. We've got our wiring diagram, so we're going to be away really. So we've got wiring diagram on both sides that tells us how to plug everything in. Yeah, it's looking, so like I say, there's a few things that I would personally change. I will be changing the colours to match UK colours, but that's a personal preference. That's just because I would prefer to do that. But yeah, so far I quite like the kit. So it's just a matter now of printing some parts, and then the next video or next live stream, no confirmation on when that will be, but I'd like to try and do the same day and time each week. So potentially next Sunday, 3 p.m. UK time, we'll start with the frame. And between now and then, I'll start printing parts, and I will clean and grease the rails. I'll explain how I did that in the next live stream, but I'll do it off camera just because it's going to be messy and I don't want to have to touch cameras and controls and everything. But yeah, so the plan is to build this in live streams, and I will probably be playing with different setups for the camera, because I want to try and get something that works. I ideally would like to be able to sit down while I do some live streams, because I've been standing up now. Like I did the live stream yesterday with standing up, but I don't know if the camera, I don't know where I'll put stuff, but we'll work on that for the next one. Has anyone got any questions before we call it a day on this unboxing stream? Like I said, I've got a Raspberry Pi that I will be putting in this kit. The control board is a standard E3 mini layout, so we'll be able to use the printed parts in the Voron GitHub for that. Doesn't appear that anyone's got any questions, but I will just give it a couple of seconds. So what time is it? I don't know if you're still here, Richard. What time is it over there now? I asked you this yesterday when we were doing a stream. I'd like, you know, I want to be able to do a time that's sort of convenient for people. Is anyone able